On Sunday's editor-at-large, it's Charlotte Griffiths. Thank you so much for your time this Sunday. Really appreciate it. Let's kick off then, shall we? Kevin, The Telegraph. Rayner joins fight to ditch Lammy's cuts to jury trials. Tell us more.
Yeah, so, you know, David Lammy, he's provoked a bit of a storm of controversy really over this suggestion, and there's a growing Labour rebellion against it. Which is remarkable, really, when you think the size of Labour's majority. You speak to some of these rebels and they'll say, this will never happen. You know, if it goes to a vote and we need the numbers, we'll get the numbers, because it's just, there's so much anger. It wasn't in Labour's manifesto. Labour MPs just like, this is not the type of thing that we should be doing. But according to the Sunday Telegraph, they've got a big hitter now supporting them in Angela Rayner. Now, it's obviously interesting that she was Deputy Prime Minister. Keir Starmer said last week he'd like to get her back. He's going to have to get his skates on and get her back before she can join this rebellion, because, you know, having a big figurehead like this gives it more weight and just piles the pressure on Keir Starmer. And it's just interesting, we were talking earlier about Andy Burnham being in potential leadership. Angela Rayner would definitely be in it to win it as well if the time came. So I think it's interesting to see that she's willing to be a thorn in the government side.
And all the while, more infighting within government. It's never a good look to the electorate, is it?
No, definitely not. And this is what they promised they would change, all this infighting and, you know, to have Rayner come in and sort of stand up for the working classes and, you know, the government versus the people, and she's on the side of the people when she's actually formerly part of the government. It's a mess, isn't it, from the outside looking in? It's the last thing they want.
And this has a through line as well, sorry, just occurred to me, to violence against women challenge, because one of David Lammy's arguments is to do this was to try and make sure that there were high conviction rates for rape and sexual assault. He's actually criticised for being a bit cynical in doing that. And
definitely. And I spoke one Labour MP who's against it. I spoke to him and he said that's just a red herring. He said that, and it's deeply cynical to be using such an emotive subject to try and make the case for these changes, because what he said to me was that there's already mechanisms in place so that those types of crimes are expedited through the system. So the idea that you need to do this to speed up justice for rape victims is completely bogus.
Yeah, well, that's the argument you made to Sophie Ridge, and, yeah, as you say, rightly criticised for it. All right, where are we going next?
We're going to go to the Mail on Sunday, Charlotte, and this is revelations that came out of Virginia Giuffre's posthumous book that Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, essentially got his... to dig up dirt on Virginia Giuffre using her date of birth, her social security number, to his personal advisor. That was passed on to the Metropolitan Police. They have since come back and said there is no ground for a criminal investigation. So that's where we're at the moment with this story.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And the family of Virginia Giuffre are angry about this because they say... So it was an 8-week assessment. They said they got emailed by the Met Police, I think a day ago, you know, 24 hours ago, basically. And they said, have you got any evidence? They didn't have a chance to reply because of the short window. And then the Met announced, we're dropping it all. And they're saying, well, we didn't have a chance to reply. Why did they wait so long to email us in the first place? And why didn't they mention in that email to us that they were planning to drop it? You know, it's just something, it feels a bit off. It feels like they were box ticking. They weren't really planning to look into it. Or this is their perception anyway. Like, they weren't really planning to look into it in any meaningful way. And at the very end, they quickly emailed the family of Virginia just to check if they had any evidence, and then went ahead and dropped the probe anyway.
Yeah, the former Duke of York, he vehemently denies any wrongdoing with this, with any allegations of sex with Virginia Giuffre. But potentially it doesn't stop there, because the Met Police are saying if they do receive any additional information, well, then they'll follow it up. So it isn't a closed door, theoretically.
Yeah, it isn't a closed door, but it has angered the family, and the family have now spoken out against the Met Police. So that's just, it's highly embarrassing. But, of course, the Epstein files are, you know, are all about to come to light. So who knows, there could be another round. And meanwhile, the Mail on Sunday's reported that, you know, Andrew's preparing after Christmas to move into his shoebox-sized house.
Oh, glad you went to that. Yeah, shoebox. I think it's a 5-bed.
It does suggest...
shoebox.
It does suggest that he is going to be laying low in 2026 in anticipation of further developments. But yeah, I mean, is it a shoebox? I think compared to Royal Lodge, which has 30 rooms, I think it was 13 bedrooms, it is a bit of a shoebox, and actually he's having trouble with his furniture because he's moving stuff out, but obviously he's downsizing. We've all been there with the downsizing, especially our parents and things. Where does he put it all? But, you know, it's not just an IKEA sofa, it's a sort of large, marble, beautiful, stunning cabinet, probably knowing him. So a lot of it's going into storage.
You can see why the king decided to cut my drift, because these stories just aren't going away. It's
It's a mess still, yeah. It's still
so
linked, isn't it?
many stories still to come, I think.
All right, where are we going on to
Right
next?
then, we're going to go on to the Mirror and this flu tsunami.
Oh, yeah. Talking about this yesterday, weren't we?
The Health Secretary was streeting. He's going to battle with the BMA over the resident doctors' strikes. You've got that in the background. But he was talking about how this super flu, this tsunami flu, is really going to cripple the NHS in a way potentially we haven't seen before. And so, you know, at odds, this Labour government is at odds with this huge union. While there's potentially the worst flu we've seen since the pandemic.
Since the
it's
pandemic.
not great.
Yeah, I mean, it is the perfect storm. In a way, it does play into West Streeting, another Labour leadership contender, as you mentioned.
Oh, they're all there.
It does play into his hands because, you know, he has been, before this outbreak, very critical of the BMA. You know, gave them a big pay deal last year to stop the strikes when they first came into office, and now they've just come back for more. He's very angry, so this gives him a massive stick to beat them with. You know, he says it's unconscionable to be going ahead with a strike at a time of a flu epidemic such as this. And he says, really punchy, really, it's no exaggeration to say the BMA will have chosen to put lives at risk this Christmas. You know, really ramping up the rhetoric. The BMA, though, don't seem to be in the mood to back down, so it's become a real test of strength.
We'll find out tomorrow whether they've accepted the terms and they're going to call off this strike.
I
mean, from the reporting this morning, it seems as if it's in the balance. I don't think anyone knows quite which way it's going to go.
It's also interesting. I was thinking earlier, you know, unlike us journalists, the public have always been in favour of doctors and respected and backed doctors, whether it's pay, working conditions. But there is a sense that potentially, on this one in particular, that maybe the BMA haven't got this right. Maybe there's a political thread that's running through the BMA on this one.
Yeah, well, the story does say that 58% of the public, according to YouGov, don't support the strikes. So, you know, so West Street might have the public on his side with this.
I did a poll of the paper on my phone this morning and did that, and it was 93% don't support.
I'm not surprised by that. I was quite surprised. I thought 58% was quite low when I read this article. 98% sounds a bit more on point, especially as people we know are now dropping like flies with this flu. So the public out there will be thinking, God, my grandmother has it, my aunt has it, my nephew has it. Because I'm really starting to see in my own social group, people are getting it really badly at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, next we are going... This is in the Mail, isn't it, Charlie? You're talking us through this booze flash. I love the headline. Tell us what it's all about.
This is very disappointing because one of my favourite life hacks is to eat a pizza or some carbs before going out drinking. And apparently it doesn't make any difference.
But I thought you need to eat something before you go to sleep, a glass of water.
You're getting it all wrong.
Eat something and then go to sleep.
The secret is 1 for 1. That's the secret. 1 glass of booze with 1 glass of water. Anyway, sorry.
But after the second glass of booze, I'm like, I've never heard of water. Any of that. Also, we learnt a new word today, didn't we? Which is clinophilia.
OK.
Which is in this article. That's the desire, strong desire to stay in bed after drinking. And this isn't cured by eating before drinking. So I suppose eating after drinking is the solution.
It says eat before you go to bed. Helps it a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's that.
That does help.
A kebab on the way home.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That is good.
So which
That
I definitely didn't do earlier this week.
I mean, the
idea about lining your stomach, I never thought as a student it was to avoid the hangover. It's just to mean that you could drink more beer.
Absorb, yes, absorb. And they used to say eating's cheating,
Eating's cheating,
at
that's what a
university,
friend
which
used
is
to tell me
terrible.
that.
So if you wanted to get drunk cheaply, don't eat beforehand. And then it only takes you a pint to get drunk.
If you got caught eating, you know, while drinking, it was like a terrible social faux pas.
You are trying Thank God we're not students anymore.
Absolutely.
I can't believe it.
OK.
Responsibly, everyone.
If it's not mixing drinks and having hangovers, it's dating apps. Kevin, talk us through this new dating...
Hold on, you didn't read the whole thing. Dating apps for...
Cows?
Yes. Tinder for cows, as it's been.
What?
It's been called. There is an app. No. Listen, cows need love as well. So, there's a thing called the Herd Plus app, which basically matches. There's no romance involved here. It matches cows with the right bull to improve milk, for instance,
Okay.
beef production, and this is being used on a farm in Ireland that produces the cows that make the milk for Bailey's Irish Cream.
Oh, it's
Back to
got a
booze
Christmas
again, oh my
thread
goodness.
running through it.
We keep coming back to it. But yeah, so the cows wear a moo monitor, as it's been called, which records the vital signs. They then put what they need into the farmers put what they need into like an app, and they get a match straight away, and the bill
Well,
comes round.
I think that sounds
It's
perfectly...
timely,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
It's timely
good.
because the mating season for
They have mating season?
is from
Christmas.
autumn
After
and it
Christmas.
begins after Christmas. So
Although it does
Timely.
say,
Oh,
yeah,
a lot.
but it also says it doesn't sound like as much fun of it. It's collected from the bulls
Yeah,
and frozen in
frozen.
liquid nitrogen, and then it's artificial insemination.
there's no love there.
Thanks for
is
saying
there?
Not as romantic.
Anything?
yeah.
I've no extra gags to add to that. So, guys, thanks so much. Brilliant stuff. Enjoy the rest of your Sundays. We'll see you again really soon. And we'll see you guys very soon after this short break.
What's the best thing about being a Sky News journalist?